What's really good? I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Louder. This is the Hitlist, the unofficial official power ranking for the Challenge 35 Total Madness. Tyler, what's good with you, man?
I'm feeling great. It seemed like this week took a long time to get here, but when it did, this Wednesday delivered. This was a great episode from start to finish, and I'm amped up right now. I'm pretty excited.
Absolutely amazing episode. I think this will go down as probably one of the best nominations we ever seen. It was completely off the wall. It was looking like bananas for a minute. Then Jay, then Nelson out of nowhere. And then Jordan just says, throw my hat in the ring. So very excited stuff. We don't get to see stuff like this all the time.
Yeah, what was awesome about it is like I love that Jordan nominating himself was kind of like shadowed because there's so much more chaotic, conversation going on. I feel like that's going to start happening more and more. People are just going to start nominating themselves to go in, and it's
I
going to be
think that
like
was a
eight
great
people.
idea.
Mhm.
Great idea.
He should have what he should have done. He started calling people out. He should have like raised his hand and been like, "You suck, you suck, you suck." And they might have voted for him.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the hit list. Before we do that, let's break it down. We have 25 competitors left. How are we going to break it down? What kind of tiers are we going to break it down into?
We're gonna do something really different this week. So we're gonna do top 10 as tier one.
Okay.
We're gonna do next 10 as tier two, and then we're gonna do that basement, that bottom five, those people that are really not even on the show. That's who's gonna be in the basement. That's how it is. So
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and take a look at the basement. Number 26, CT. Number 25, Jenna. 24, Casey. Melissa, Maddie, and Big T. Now, yes, this basement is absolutely terrible. It's a shame that the person who was just eliminated and is now out of contention is the best name on the hit list for when it comes to the basement. So, since he's the only person who's actually even been on the show really this season, let's talk about CT. CT goes down in episode 3 by Jay. Jay, of all people, takes him out. What do you make of that?
I was sitting here and I was watching it with my wife, and we kept looking at each other like, I feel like Jay might be able to win. And I thought the strategy was crazy. I understand CT, ties knots, and I
Not so
rank
fast, right? Came
and
right
I
to
yeah,
mind.
exactly. But Jay being from Survivor, that's all they do on like challenges is like untie knots. Like almost every challenge, there's like a untying of a knot thing. I just think he's so crafty, and I think he's very underrated. And if it wasn't for the fact that he was a smaller guy, he wouldn't be, getting thrown in as a sacrificial goat. Let's talk more about CT though. He had 11 interviews today, as that happens when you get highlighted, but he won the daily challenge. He was the first person done, beat everybody in an endurance thing nonetheless. That's what I still like to see. Like I get he lost this elimination, but CT was still outrunning a lot of people, and he was outthinking them too. That's what I like about this daily challenge that he did there. And he had to take a shot. If the rules weren't the way they were, CT would have never had to do this, and he probably would have coasted to a final.
And CT makes one of the biggest drops in hit list history. He goes from was it number 9 last week all the way to completely out. So that was really crazy. Do you think it's time that people start putting some respect on Jay's name? You know what? Don't answer that. We'll get to it when it comes to Jay. Let's go ahead and take a look at this mid tier. All right, at number 20, we got Nelson, 19, 90, 18, Josh, 17, Kyle, Kayla, Anissa, Bear, Ashley, Fessy. At number 11, we got Jordan. And at number 10, we have Swaggy C. All right, so your mid tier looks a little bit more interesting, not nearly as dry. Let's go ahead and start off with number 16, Kayla Casillas. So we finally got to see her come out and do more than just give the occasional highlighting something going on in the episode. She actually participated today. Was she doing the right thing with warning Corey and Nelson about how the tide was turning in the house?
I think so. I think what people don't talk about enough on these shows is like how important her telling them this information is, because you never want to be on the wrong side of a vote. Because if you're on the wrong side of a vote, like if a majority is going one way and like 4 of you go the opposite way, boom, you just showed them who their next 4 targets are. So it's always good, even if it's not your plan, to go with the majority. And so her telling them, of course, Nelson blows this whole thing up
Of
out of
course.
nowhere. And Corey was just like, nah, man, that's not what happened. Like, no, Kayla was doing it right. You know, it looks like she's working alongside of what we saw in that bedroom with Johnny Bananas and Jordan and Tori, all those guys, Jenny. And then it looks like she's working with Corey and Nelson as well. So she's double dipping right now. And that's not even including her main alliance of Nani and Jenna. Like Kayla right now is maybe the most connected person in this house.
She is looking pretty good. What can we expect to see Kayla coming in the next couple of weeks? So she could really earn this 16th spot, which I think is a pretty fair placement for her.
If she wants to get out of this mid card and move into that top 10, you know, stop vying for the Intercontinental Championship and go for that world title. No disrespect. She's got to show up in a daily challenge sometime. If it's a solo, she's got a place in like the top 5 for me. If I see it, she's got to just look like she's wrecking shop. If it's a team or a pair, she's got to look like a good partner plus a dominating. Like she has to start placing. She doesn't have to get in the tribunal, but like the camera has to, the edit has to highlight her as actually competing with the top dog.
Right. And if we're not seeing her when it comes down to the wire with these things, it means she's not doing well enough to be shown.
Exactly.
All right, let's go ahead and move it to the 13th spot. Ashley. Johnny Bananas seemed to have taken an interest in Ashley, and he seems to be going after her to, I don't know, what's really behind, what do you think is his motives of trying to get Ashley out?
I have no idea. If you remember last season, she was on the fence of which side to go. And
Right.
Laurel kind of convinced her which way to go. She kind of talks to Laurel, works with Laurel, and then Bananas throws the daily, and then she loses it. And it was like, I'm not siding with you guys. Like she was gonna, I feel like she would have worked with Bananas and Laurel the whole way, but then they threw that challenge, and Ashley just is completely against that. You know, I don't understand why I don't understand why he's attacking her. I can't figure it out. Like you should let somebody like her that flip flops, you know, just give him enough rope. That's what he always says, right? And
Exactly.
now instead of that, he's trying to just like nip it early and take care of it. And I don't get why. Like Ashley's never been somebody that can rally up the entire house against somebody. That's not really her thing. She latches onto people like a leech and rides them until she sucked them dry and then moves on, which is not a bad thing. That's just how she plays. She just kind of sits back.
What is Ashley going to have to do to keep herself protected? I mean, she really hasn't been doing anything out of line. Her reaction to how everything went down definitely put a target on her back. It's just like, hey, here goes Millionaire Mitchell. She has won 2 of these things. And, you know, now she's putting a target on her back. So now the committee to get her out is going to look even better. How does she save her ass in this one?
So there's 2 ways she can save her ass. One of them is impossible. The other one, something she can do.
Well, I
The
want to hear the
impossible
impossible
one,
one.
the impossible one is she needs to go back in time and split the money with Hunter, so that way she doesn't have this like ego that I'm richer than all of you. I don't care if I go home.
She did mention that this episode.
That's what she says. She said, I don't care if I go home. Throw me into elimination. I don't care. Because of that mentality, she's going to probably get thrown in. That's just what happens. Now, what she can do is she needs to find somebody that obviously is against Bananas and latch onto them. Or the next best thing to do would be to just completely, I'm trying to think, just do what she did last season with Turbo and Jordan. Kind of go spread some little lies, some fibs, get the house talking about something else.
Yeah,
and then as
that's
soon
not
as the
her.
eyes aren't looking at her anymore, she can sneak on in. And that's probably her best play right now, is to spread some rumors and talk some smack. Like, that's her best play.
Anything she could do to divert attention against her freaking out. Because once the pressure is on, she's going to act some kind of way. And when she does, who wants to stay in a house with crazy?
But let's think about this real quick. Who of these females do you think that she can go into an elimination? If we're just going to say it's a random elimination, has an upper hand on her? Because like I feel like she has a good chance to win any type of elimination against any type of female.
I do. I do think she is definitely one of the top girls. But so the girl cast isn't as strong as the male side, but the girls in there are tough. Jenny and Tori is going to be a problem for anybody and everybody who gets in their way. They're going to be a problem. At the same time, Anissa can also be a problem, and so can Jenna. All four of these girls can hold their own when it comes to elimination. And Jenny, one of the scariest ones, is pretty untested. And not to say, depending on what it is, Maddie has size on her. So, but I also think that Ashley is one of the smarter girls.
Exactly.
And she's very competitive, and she can be vicious when the time comes. So I'm not counting her out at all. And let's keep in mind, we still haven't been able to see what Casey can actually do. She has not been featured at all this season, and I'm really excited to see once she gets in. Oh, let's not sleep on Queen Bailey.
Oh, that she's there. She's in the top tier. We'll talk about her in a second.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, now I just named all that out. Maybe the female cast isn't as weak as we all been playing.
I think the female here, when I say I don't think it's weak necessarily. I just don't think they're well rounded. Like if I look at Ashley, Ashley is a well-rounded competitor. She's great at physical stuff. She's great at endurance. She's really good at mental game, and she's good at puzzles. Like we don't see somebody that's like above average in all categories. Like if I told you that it was going to be Jenny versus I don't even know like Maddie in a puzzle, are you going to want to watch that elimination? Like I'm just saying. But if those two go up to each other and like pole wrestle, now we got an elimination. So I just think the females are more tailored to physical strength and endurance maybe, but not so much mental and like strategy and stuff like that. So
all right. Before we get into the top 10, let's go ahead and talk about the number 10 spot. Swaggy C. Swaggy C finds himself into another tribunal and give it up to Bailey for getting CT in there, but pretty much they said, get us into the tribunal and we'll pretty much give you whatever you want, which I think is fair, but, you know, they got to, I see Swaggy and Bailey giving up a lot. I don't really see them getting a lot in return.
Well, Swaggy was safe from elimination because that I feel like was Bailey's biggest concern is that Jay has a red skull. They've already targeted him. They can target Swaggy, you know, and so I feel like that's what they're going to do.
Is that the worst thing in the world? I mean, I get it. They're friends. They're cool. But if this was Swaggy versus Jay,
he might have had a chance.
Right?
Maybe. Yeah, he might have. He might have had a chance here. I mean, you don't know what the elimination is, but what I would look at is that they were sitting in that moment and Bailey was like, CT's going to throw himself in no matter what. I don't want Swaggy going up against CT. Like if they have to wrestle a pole out of each other's hands or if there's just a little hallway right there, I don't want Swaggy getting hurt. And so I think she was kind of scared at that point. However, it was keep my guy safe for a week. We'll vote your way. It's a tick for tack. It's a quick transaction. That's how I looked at it.
All right.
And it also shows that they're here to play. They're not just like, do whatever you want, CT. Like Bailey was like, this is what I want.
I did peep that. I did like that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top tier. All right. So at number 10, we got Swaggy C. 9, Tori. 8, Queen Bailey. 7, we got Wes dropping 2 spots. 6, we got Jenny. 5, Rogan. 4, Corey. 3, we got Bananas moving up 5 spots. 2, we got D. And at number 1, we have Jay making a huge 10-spot jump right alongside Bailey. All right. So I see a lot of big movement in the top 10. So Bailey getting her first challenge win, which was glorious, right alongside CT. Is this the reason why she has made such a huge jump to the number 10 spot?
Yeah, I think it was, I mean, she only had, I ever done for 3 interviews, so she didn't get a lot of camera time, but being able to win that daily, which it wasn't just that she beat the girl, she beat everybody but CT. So she was second out of 26, you know, that's impressive. The fact that she's a rookie and she thought, hey, Jenny's got the same symbol as me. I'm going to take that number and like just use that, like win at any cost, you know, mentality. And then add the third layer in of where she goes, keep Swaggy safe. And she used her power right away, got what she wanted against the aging veteran. I think all those things combined moved her up. The only reason why she didn't move up to like the top 5, as most people are probably going to say she should because of all the things I just listed, is because as soon as that happened, she was kind of silent. She kind of just fell off. I mean, she had a couple conversations here and there, but the topic wasn't about her anymore. It was about Club Night, and it was about D and J and Rogan.
Yes. Also, I didn't love the way they played the tribunal. You know, and I learned this from Wes. Anytime you're in a position of power, the only point is to use it to gain more power later on. Bear didn't want to go in. Okay,
Use that.
exactly. Use it. You don't want to go in. How about this? I save your ass now. You better save me later. And that wasn't really done. It was done more so the last time we seen him in. So I thought that was a really missed opportunity. But I am really, really loving everything I see from Bailey and Swaggy C. But actually, Bailey a little bit more. I think Bailey might be a little bit more challenge ready, or just at least having a better season so far than her beau Swaggy C.
I think so as well. Swaggy stepped it up a little bit this week. He started kind of looking more like a challenger, and that's my biggest thing right now. Is I just don't feel he's a challenger at this moment. I think he kind of hides behind Bailey at this moment, which isn't. I'm not bashing that or anything. It's just she's shining more than he is.
Right.
I think once this field, if he let's say Swaggy stays around until episode 6 or 7, if they stop going after rookies, and there's gonna be less people here, he's gonna get more camera time and he's gonna get a chance to shine. You know, he's already getting a little bit here, and being in 2 tribunals already in your rookie season, it's not bad.
Not bad at all. All right, talk about number 7 for a little while, for a little bit. Wes dropping 2 spots.
It was all just because Jay and Bananas moved up. He didn't do anything wrong to change his position. It was just people below him had a little bit better of a week. So when that naturally happens, he moves down 2 spots. And if you ever see anybody move like that, like you see Wes, Rogan, Corey, they all take like small moves. Really, it's only because somebody leapfrogged them. That's really all it is.
Got it. And they're just a victim of their placing.
Exactly. He just didn't do enough to move up, but he didn't do enough to hurt himself to fall down. He just falls due to circumstances.
All right. Another big leap we got was Bananas. Now, I like Bananas. I think he's pretty okay, you know, in the challenge and all.
He's doing fine.
You know, he didn't really win anything. It seemed like he just, and a lot of it was luck. I mean, this nomination was really off the chain and every which way and form. And him moving up 5 spots and jumping into number 3, it seems like luck just kind of falling in his lap. I don't know if that should really apply to a power ranking. I mean, does really saving your ass earns you more power in this thing?
Here's the thing. It's not that just that he saved his own ass in this situation. It's the fact that he gained a true understanding that him and Wes are an alliance. Like gaining that, you know, respect and trust is very big, especially from somebody at that moment could have sent you in. Because if Wes says Bananas, then Melissa's going to say Bananas and Corey's going to say Bananas. One of those two Bananas goes in. And this whole elimination is different. Completely changes.
Yeah, and, you know, he definitely showed his appreciation. And, man, it's so weird to see, you know, these guys who's hated each other for so long but respected each other and such a long history. And once they agree that they can like each other, they can hardly keep their hands off of each other. And it's really weird to see, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't like it. I think it's one of the best. I mean, you could like that, or you can like D and Rogan going back and forth. So, which one do you prefer to like?
I mean, if you pay attention to social media, these guys have been like friendly bashing each other back and forth, and it's almost like we were getting like a preview to this for the past like year and a half, and it's friendly banter. And the best part about being friendly banter is the fact that like we can enjoy. I don't know, we just get to enjoy it. It's a whole new element that we've never get to see, you know? Because even when Bananas was on here with like Kenny and Evan and stuff like that, sorry if we're not allowed to say their name. Okay. But he didn't even have that kind of friendly banter. Like it was all like he kind of would like do something and look for approval, or like they would do something and look for approval. Like this seems like it literally seems like they're seniors and their class elected them as co-presidents, and they're like, oh great, we get to do whatever we want now. Like that's how it seems.
Yeah, they bounce off of each other really well. They've always made great TV. I mean, you got whole seasons that just strictly revolve around how they split the house and the battle between those two. So the fact that they're working together, I love to see it, but I also feel like we lost a little something. That rivalry was, you know, that's Red Sox versus Yankees, and now that it's over, it does feel like we're missing a little bit. But I feel like what we're gaining is more. So I'm okay with that.
This is LeBron James and Dwayne Wade going to the Heat together. Like that's what this is. Like as much as I didn't like that or whatever, you know, back then, but that's what this is. That's what this is. And so what's great about this is the fact, like every interview, like we saw it in like episode 1, Like Jordan was sitting there and he goes, "Why are these guys so close to each other?" And then all of a sudden we see it now, and Corey's like, "Wait a second, they hate each other."
Yeah.
And you see the wheels turn in everybody's head. Is like, why is this going on? Which is going to be interesting how they're going to try and solve this. I think the only way they're going to be able to solve it is Wes going, "Bananas is mine. I'm saving it for myself. I don't want anybody else to do it." That's the only way I can see like them salvaging this. Like, why didn't you vote him in? Like, I'm going to take him out. That's why. So
I think the cat is going to be out the bag. They are barely hanging on to this thing now. Barely. They can hardly contain themselves. And it's lovely to see that they're so excited themselves, they can hardly keep it a secret, even though it's kind of paramount to their success. Love to see it. I think everybody else is going to realize it once it's too late. The bad thing about it is, I think once people realize that those two are working together, I think it'll mobilize the house to get them both out. Because it's like, holy shit.
It might happen, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's when we'll see somebody, like one of them's going to turn each other. Once the whole house catches on, and if they go at them, you're going to see like one of them's going to turn on the other one first in hopes to save themselves. That's what's going to happen.
I do not see this lasting the whole season. As much as I'd love to see it, I just don't see it lasting the whole season. All right, before we get out of here, let's talk about the man of the hour, the number one spot, J Starrett, coming in making a 10-spot leap into number one, taking down a living elimination legend in CT. And I don't care what nobody says, the numbers are the numbers. It is a little suspect, even though we know why he has lost some of these eliminations. But he still went in there fair and square, and he handled business. Now, I think people like me and you who watch the show and love the show, we have an immense amount of respect for him. Yeah. Just for winning for that. Does the house respect him more for taking out CT, or is it just going to be business as usual and keep throwing his rookie ass in?
I mean, I think so. I mean, we've seen this with rookies that, people go after for whatever reasons. They go into multiple eliminations, and he's going to have to prove himself a couple times. And if he goes in and like, this isn't going to happen, I feel like, but if he wins like 3 or 4 eliminations, which is a lot in this day and age, people don't go in and win 3 eliminations most seasons. It's rare. Anymore. Like they win like 2, and then they're either out on their 3rd or they just don't go in anymore. I think people will start putting more respect on his name, and they'll be like, all right, I don't want to go against him anymore. I'm going to go against somebody else. What I thought was interesting is like, I was kind of like, if Rogan would have went into elimination, I think Jay would have smoked him. Really? Like, because look at the strategy CT put, and Jay beat him like barely. By that much, barely. You're going to tell me Rogan would have tied those knots like that and would have thrown those? Rogan would have just thrown boulder after boulder.
Nobody would have went for the ropes.
Nobody, except for Jay and CT, apparently. Because, Jay was putting that chain that everybody was making fun of. He wrapped it through every single cinder block, and CT had to break cinder blocks to get through.
And that chain was the last thing hanging on, too. So...
How ironic. Everybody was shitting on it. And then all of a sudden, that's the key right there.
Just by a little bit.
It was a wild elimination, wild episode. He also got to hook up with D, even if he's only doing it because, Rogan's making him mad. It's kind of funny that,
he deserves so much better than that. Like, he's obviously being used. And even though D was looking smoking as a cat, he deserves so much better. He seems like a genuine, nice guy. Even his aggression towards Rogan was, I think it's due. Hey, I already went in. I already won one. I've already been in more eliminations than you. You're in this position because you mistreated. Yeah. Even his aggression, I was just like, he's making several good points.
Yeah. At one point he looked at Rogan and he said, "Why don't you just shut up and walk away?" And like Rogan, it was great. The fact that he's this confident, and what I love about it is if you saw Survivor, he's mellow. He was cool, he's got the long hair. He's got to be the cool hippie guy, whatever. But on X on the Beach, dude, there were some big guys that were kind of talking to him. I think it was, I forget his name. I think it was Chase from last season. I think he was on there. Yep. And he was talking to Morgan or whatever. And he went face to face with him and was like, "I don't even care how big you are than me." Like, he doesn't care. He's agile. He's crafty. I think, honestly, him saying what he said to Rogan was just like, I'm going to make sure that he's a rookie, and he's telling Rogan, who just won $250,000, I'm going to make sure you never go into elimination.
Here goes the best part about him saying that. You fucking believed him. You heard it, and he was just like, holy shit, look at this guy.
Yeah.
I saw Jay on X on the Beach. Didn't really think much of him. I didn't think he was a bad guy. He came in. All right, he beat Asaf. It's cool. I like Jay. I like Jay. And I think
Mhm.
the challenge is going to be very good to him.
The best part about all this is that I think he fits with the challenge very well. I think his character fits. He's athletic enough. He isn't afraid to talk smack or make out with somebody's ex-girlfriend right in front of him, you know. And the best part about this all is as soon as he beat CT, and it was so funny, he was like, "Man, like you're my idol. Like I look up to you." And CT was like, "Don't be weird, man. Don't make it weird."
That was awesome.
But I like how he showed so much respect after beating him.
He did.
Like people don't do that.
Yeah, he
Like
could
people,
he could have easily got up, gloated, threw his helmet into the stand, said, you're all on notice. Because I always had the dream that when I beat CT, that's what I do. I take my helmet, I throw it into the crowd. I'm like, you're all on notice. And CT was
yeah.
also very gracious in defeat. Just a lot of respect, and he gave the kid all the credit in the world. And man, I really like Jay for this.
And you know what's great about this is I think this is a wake up check for CT. And he said it. He's like, if I'm gonna keep doing this, I
Yeah,
gotta get in better shape. Like,
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Anybody would gas out after spending 20 minutes setting that up and another 20 minutes trying to take it down. So, like, I think anybody would start to get gas. But
like if anybody right now thinks that they can go out there and throw a cinder block down, like above your head, throw it down 25 to 30 times at age like 40,
yeah,
nonetheless, he's like in his upper 30s. You're out of your mind. This was a great episode, great elimination. I'm happy to have Jay. Sucks to see CT leave so early, but I think we're gonna see what we saw with Wes. Wes got sent home early, changed his game. Bananas got sent home early, changed his game. I think when vets have this happen to them, they come back better, and that's what we all want. We all want a better. If CT comes back next season and is just jacked and
and
cracking eggs in his mouth every day, like.
And it looks like we have a little bit of extra time because of everything going on. Season 36 most likely is going to be a bit delayed. But one last question before I get you out of here. CT won last season. He went home early the season before, went home early this season. Is it time for him to hang it up? Or does he still got some juice in the tank?
I mean, he smoked everybody in that daily. So no, I don't think so. I think as soon as like he gets an early exit plus can't perform in dailies, then it's like, all right, it's too soon. It's kind of like the NFL when like a quarterback is like riding a high and then all of a sudden Peyton Manning shows up and he can't throw a completion anymore. And it's like, oh man, should have retired last year. That's when CT will retire, when it's too late. Like we'll wait, we'll see it's too late. Especially if MTV keeps paying up that money, dude. So.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and watching the show. We appreciate it. Make sure you follow me at Malik_MTV. Make sure you follow Tyler at Lord Louder. Once again, I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Louder. This is the Hit List. Good night.
See ya. Dude, I'm so sorry. Didn't you see your message? I didn't record my audio until the last 12 minutes. Oh, because you have OBS and you have this. Well, what do you take?